Hi, I'm Ravleen Chawla. I gave my interview for IIM Indore and I'd like to share my experience with you. The interview began with a 30-minute written ability test. The topic of my test was, the success of a business organization is solely dependent on the democratic principles it follows. So it was a 30-minute test, after which it was followed by an interview. In the interview, we had 3 panelists. There was a lady and there were 2 gentlemen. So the lady asked me to give an introduction, to which I said that I'm Ravleen Chawla, currently pursuing Materials and Metallurgical Engineering from Peck University of Technology, Chandigarh, and I'm an active member of the Debating Society of our college, that is the Speakers Association. Also, I write for the college magazine Dream Campus. Then she said if I'd like to add something more to my introduction, then I replied that I'm also the secretary of an NGO, Junior Einstein. We teach underprivileged kids of class 9th and 10th on Saturdays and Sundays, and I prepared a batch of 30 kids for a JET exam for the diploma courses. The interview was further followed by my hobbies. So my hobbies included reading books and watching movies. So she asked me what kind of learning do you derive out of the books and the movies. I said I have a habit of collecting quotes from the books that I read and the movies that I watch. So she asked me about the recent book, the latest book that I had read, to which I said Divergent series. So I was asked about the author, which I knew, Veronica Roth. Then I was asked to explain the book. It was further followed by a book that I had read long time back, to which I said books by Mitch Albom. Then she asked me, how many books have you read? To which I said 2 books. The books were The 5 People That You Meet in Heaven and Tuesdays with Maury. I was further probed on the books. She asked me that in the book Tuesdays with Maury, is Maury a 6-month-old baby? To which I said no, he's an old professor. Then he asked me who's the protagonist of the book. I said the author, Mitch Albom, he's the protagonist. Then she further questioned me about the recent movie that I watched. I'd watched The Imitation Game. So she asked me that what is the fad about this movie, The Imitation Game? Why are youngsters really appreciating this movie? To which I said that the main character, the protagonist of the movie, Alan Turing, he's a mathematician and he changes the course of World War II by devising a machine that can break down the code Enigma, through which the entire course of World War II is changed. That was further followed by questions like that you said you like quotes from the movies. So any particular quote that you liked from this movie? To which I said that sometimes it is the people who no one thinks anything of who do things that no one can imagine. The questions were then followed by the second panelist, who asked me questions about Punjab, about metallurgy. He asked me about the nearby plants of metallurgy or iron and steel industries in Punjab. It was further, now that the second panelist, he had my transcripts. So there was this subject that I had taken up in first year, Introduction to Computing. So I was probed on questions like what is the difference between the operating system of a mobile phone and a computer, to which I replied that I did not know the answer to. Then I was asked what is IP. I questioned him if he was talking about internet protocol, but he was talking about intellectual property. I knew the answer to it. Then it was further followed by another movie, The Theory of Everything. He asked me if I had seen the movie. I had not, but he then asked me if I knew what the movie was about. I did know that. It was based on the life of Stephen Hawking. Then, finally, the third panelist questioned me about metallurgy. He asked me questions like, can you explain the iron-carbon diagram? I told him if I could get a sheet of paper, but then he said, it's a very complicated diagram. We would rather like it if you explain it without drawing. So I explained the diagram and I was further asked questions on it. Then I was asked the difference between hot rolling and cold rolling, the difference between hardness and toughness, the toughest material. So this was the interview. Thank you.